Great day to you. What's happening? It's Lee going over this psychologist, but at least he studied psychology. Sounds like he does YouTube videos about technology. I'm not sure. And yeah, he did not do the forum, just went to an intro session, and that's very much like reading a book by its cover. You read I guess 3 hours now. Intro sessions are probably over the phone and probably, I don't know, 15, 25, 30 minutes, maybe even less. And yeah, we'll see.
You guys won't be left like um, having seen the first 5 videos, getting really into it, wanting to learn more, and then just being left with nothing for months, right? I don't want to leave you guys in that position again, so I'm not going to do that. But that's not what we're talking about today. So I'm sure you can read the title. I'm not quite sure what I'm going for. Yes, maybe something like 7 manipulation tactics used on you or something like that. And you might be wondering,
Yeah, there's no manipulation at any level within Landmark Worldwide. If you haven't done the forum or the advanced course, I don't even call them great, two foundations, not even two things that allowed me to, I don't know, two things that after I did them, I got a lot more effective results in my life, I guess I could say. They're two 5-day courses, 915 bucks each before discount. Call your local office, leave them a voicemail, and they'll get back to you. And I don't work for them, I don't represent them, I have nothing to do with them. It's just when people, if you wrote a book and someone judged it by its cover and then put it out on YouTube, you would say something. So I didn't write anything having to do with Landmark, but yeah, this is wholly judgmental. I don't mean to give you a hard time, just saying like judging a book by its cover would be judgmental, right?
I'm talking about this. What makes you think that myself, as a software developer, has any right to talk about manipulation or anything like that? And if you think it does, I don't blame you. It's become apparent to me that I've never actually spoken about my background. My background's actually in psychology, not computer science. I studied psychology at a well-known university here in London, and I graduated with a first-class degree. But
Yeah, the forum is not psychology or psychiatry or philosophy or sociology or anthropology or anything like that. So to uh, give your psychological degree critique of the forum is like critiquing an apple with an orange. I mean, like, well, this thing isn't orange enough. It's like,
I decided I don't want to be people. So then I went off and studied computer science as well, and started being a software developer instead, which is what I'm doing now. But anyway, so basically the reason I'm recording this video, first of all, just because I wanted to record something and get back into the momentum, speaking to you guys and hopefully getting back into things so I can record more for you, but also because I had an interesting experience recently, which made me want to share with everybody else. Essentially, I have a close friend, and he's somebody I'm respecting a lot. He's a really cool guy. He knows a lot about a lot of things, and he started going on and on about.
so you got a really cool friend who knows a lot about a lot of things. Sounds like maybe someone that you might want to listen to and have an open. You can be skeptical. I just ask you to have an open mind.
Someone he told me about how he attended this seminar and it really helped him get his life back on track, helped him, look at his goals and what he wants to do.
Yeah, the seminar wasn't the 3 hours that you went through, and they don't even do that 3 hour thing anymore. It's, like I said, a half hour. Um, so yeah, you did like a taste. So how to get over 60 hours worth of content. You won't be able to get it in even a half an hour.
In his life, and he can figure out his purpose and all that stuff. And I'm listening to him talk, and I'm thinking, okay, first of all, he's a bit too into it. He's like a little bit too enthusiastic.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it if people are like, well, why is this person so have such as they called it, fervor in the last video. Um, excitement, as you say. I mean, look, this person is, I don't know, what I got out of it was more happiness, health, wealth, wisdom, freedom. So, and this person is just saying, hey, like, you're a guy who's up to big things in your life. And I don't know what you would get out of this, but you would get something out of this. I guarantee that if you do it honestly, you would get more than something. You'd get some things out of it. Um, So yeah, be as skeptical as you want. Just ask you to be open minded.
But at the same time, from the actual things he told me about, the real concrete exercises he told me about, it sounded useful, like some goal setting. Look, they were auditing his life, looking at what's working, not working, having agreed different things.
I mean, you can call that auditing if you want. Um, I wouldn't say that's auditing. It's just a question.
I was thinking, yeah, okay, look, I don't really buy the hype, but maybe it's interesting. Maybe it's worth attending. So then
And it's to yourself too. If you don't want to say a word the entire time, you could just listen the entire time if you wanted to. I say that you would get more if you participated and had conversations with people, but that's up to you.
says to me, he says, well, Ovid, listen, if you're interested but you're not sure, they're doing this free seminar just for 3 hours. It was to kind of introduce everything. And because it's free, I thought, you know what? I'll attend, I'll see how it goes. And it was terrible. It was the most.
Yeah, that's your opinion. Um, so I'm sorry it didn't fit you what you thought it would be. Whatever you thought that it was going to be wasn't clearly like they didn't tell you what it was going to be before you got there. Because if you thought it was terrible, um, it seems like you just didn't want to be there, or you felt sold to, or something.
Manipulative thing I have seen in my entire life. And guys, again, I have a background in psychology. I know these tactics. I saw them. I was just like, let's chill one at a time, please. It was too much. It was just way too much. And
There's no tactics. So if there are tactics, please explain.
because of that, I wanted to share those so you guys can look out for them in your own life. And you know what? If you want to use them on other people, I don't care. I'm not your dad. Do what you want. But yeah,
I'm going to judge a book by its cover, but then come on and tell like 12, 10,000 people also to judge the same book by the cover. Okay, 3,500. We're getting down to the end here, guys.
it was the Landmark Forum. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. So again, that's the Landmark Forum. If you are thinking about attending it, don't. Just don't. Do not do it. It's a waste.
How you gonna like I've never read this book, but don't get it, guy.
Not good. But yeah, as far as these things are concerned,
I'd argue it's well, not only worth every penny, but also I've made my money back 10, 20, 30 times by then. And can't say exactly that I made it back because of the knowledge or information that I got there, but it seems like a lot of people ask me questions like, how did you do that? I'm like, well, like strategy, how did I do it? Or like, who was I in the matter? Like, dude, when I roll into a sales situation or any communication interview situation and I'm my energy levels here. I mean, I could take it if that person's a little more somber. I don't have to be so over the top, but or over the top to that person, right? I'm not over the top. I'm myself. Um, but that energy just alters everything. So it's like, oh, how did you do that? It's like, well, it's really the fact that I was happy or free when I went in there and didn't have undone stuff, and sat through this 60 hours and did the work of listening and speaking and so forth. And yeah, I don't know. It's just if you have any negative view on the Form Advanced course, it's not what you think it is. Like whoever shared it with you just didn't. I don't know. I can't explain it. You can't explain happiness and freedom and peace of mind and enlightenment. So, that person did the best job that they could to share it with you, and they didn't, you know what I mean? So, in any event.
I'm going to talk about this specific event the most. However, I did also attend some other events. Once I attended this introductory thing for Anthony Robbins, it wasn't actually Tony Robbins speaking at the event, it was some other guy introducing.
Okay, so now you're gonna label it Landmark Forum Exposed, and yet you're gonna talk about Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins has nothing away. You're like, man, I don't know about this orange. I was really skeptical about this orange, but this apple was. I'll tell you more about the apple later. The apple was so bad. It's like, what are we doing, guys? Tony Robbins did work for the predecessor to Landmark, and possibly the reason why he is so effective and has so many, I think he has 5 or 7 different businesses that all gross $100 million a year. Maybe I'm completely off on that, but my point is that maybe one of the reasons why he's so effective and successful as John Denver, as the creators of The Matrix or Earth Day or Fight Club or The Troubles in Ireland ending, and maybe those things all have in common because of this. I'm not vouching for Tony Robbins. I've never done Tony Robbins. I've read all of his books, maybe all but one. And yeah, I'm just saying don't compare the two. And I don't know if you're negative about Tony Robbins or what, but there's no exposing to be done. There's no hidden secrets. It's just a 5-day course, and then the advanced course is another 5-day course. That's it.
And he was obviously quite bad, but I'm not going to go into the extent that Lemon was. But anyway, with that said, let's jump into it. 7 manipulation tactics used on you. And the first one And by the way, I'm not quite sure how to structure this because a lot of these kind of
It seems like you're just coming up with ways that people manipulate, and you want to, I don't know, as a psychology degree, I guess you have a right as an expert. Sounds like you spent enough time studying manipulation for you to um, get seven tactics. It just has nothing to do with Landmark. Landmark's literally talking about how people naturally can fall into either manipulation or domination or avoiding domination. So if they're going to have that conversation with people, those are not the people trying to take advantage of people. Those are the people being straight with people and getting brutally honest with people and ruthless compassion with people and deep respect for people.
like feed into each other. They build upon each other, and it's not like it's difficult to point to an exact sentence. Rather, it's the overall thing. And I have my notes over here, so like you can again. Okay, so the first one, and this has to do with the overall structure of the event. Basically, the way the event works is their goal is to hype you up as much as possible.
No, this isn't power of positive thinking. Um, there's no hype. They might people might be clapping as someone comes up to start. Um, I don't know. It's not meant to be a hype session. Let me hype up your energy. Nothing to do with that.
Is to make you feel all these good feelings, and then when
No, they literally on the first day would go over that good and bad, right and wrong, true, false, fact, and fiction is all the sea of opinions. They don't see themselves as good. Um, that's all opinion based and kind of a waste of time, to be honest with you. Once you see that that's as big of a waste of a time as it actually is, people are inspired to move into action and yeah.
when you're at the peak emotional state, when the hype is at the highest, that's when you're gonna hit you with a bam, sign up now.
No, there's no peak and sign up now. It's just this is what it is. And I'd be stupid not to offer you time to sign up now.
Sign up now, sign up now. Basically, they have this.
Why would if you like, yeah, I want to have a better relationship with my coworker or boss. And we're like, okay, great. This is an example of one tool set that's one conversation, one set of questions that we're going to discuss. And this is how and get like you would either A, have a better relationship with your coworker or your boss within the 5 days, or you would be like light years ahead of where you thought you would be prior to the 5 days. Um, yeah, you're the one that's, I mean, this is, I'm putting words in his mouth. I'm not saying you said this. I'm just using that as an example on something that someone might want before they do the forum. Um, yeah.
Credibility to them. It's like hype, hype, hype. They tell you stories, make you feel excited. They tell this for me, that for me, make me feel like this, make me feel like that. This person said this person said that. All these amazing stories. And two things.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's I get using stories to sell something. Um, I guess in sales, someone knows to call it like bandwagon theory. Um, because they're dealing with transformation, that domain has a slightly different viewpoint. When I hear someone telling a story about a victory over their past and it's an older lady, I might see my mom in that older lady. Uh, not older lady, a beautiful woman. Um, if a guy stands up and tells a story, I might see my friend or my brother in that person. This is not playing, or is this just? Oh no, it wasn't. Um, so I'd say that that's more of the reason why they do the stories is not to sell anybody or pressure anybody into anything or like manipulate anyone into anything. It's hey, here's an example of something that someone got, which is kind of like common among a lot of people. So if you're someone that wants something remotely similar to that, here's 5 days that would not give you answers, not give you solutions, give you questions that give you insights that give you your own answers. It's not them giving you answers.
So the first section, which I thought this was so boring, for like an hour and a half, I just have to sit there listening to bullshit stories which I know aren't true about all these amazing things it's done in their life. But yeah, so the first section was just stories from people who had gone through this, who had
Yeah, he's gonna say how his 10-year-old told him that told his dad that he was loving, and this guy thinks that's a fake story. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even care, bro. It's just like, bro, do you want more of something? Anything? Everybody I talk to says they want something, for most people. And it's like, all right, well, here's a way to get that thing that you wanted. Like, why are you getting hung up on someone else's story? Who cares if it's true or not? Like, just focus on yourself. Why are you like judging? I mean, we all judge. Just be aware of your judgments is all. You know what I
really
mean?
fallen in love with you and really appreciated it. And they were talking about how awesome it was and all the great things it's done for them. The reason I count this as manipulation, the first reason is that half these stories are not true. Like, I remember one
This guy is saying that these other people are lying without any shred of evidence whatsoever.
story that Barry's telling us. He says, you know, one day I come home and just my son, 10-year-old son, and my son says to me, Dad, you know what you're really good at? And I say, I'm very good at, son. And my son says, Dad, you're really good at being loving. You're a very loving person. You're good at that. And the guy had been going on about how that's what he wanted. He wants to be warm and more pathetic, more loving. That's so sweet.
This is just the telephone game. The kid said what the kid said, and then the dad either got it verbatim or whatever, changed a few words. And then now you're hearing this, and now you have that third stage. You ever play the game of telephone? That's that third stage of telephone, right? From kid to father to maybe the father misspoke. Now to you, now to us, now to me going out commenting on other dumb videos about that aren't even accurate at all. About oh well, half their stories aren't true. It's like this, you guys are blind leading the blind over here. One sec, hold please.
Wait, what 10-year-old speaks that way? Honestly, have you ever heard a 10-year-old sit next to the parents and say, Mom, Dad, you're so loving. Thank you so much. That's not how they speak. That's not what they say. Guys, please, if you're gonna make up a story, at least make it believable. That was the one that stuck out to me the most. A lot of the stories, I was thinking maybe they're true, maybe they're not. But that one especially, I was like, no, there's 0% chance that that is actually true. That's the first issue I have with it. The second issue is survivorship bias. Now, I don't know if you guys know survivorship. The survivorship bias. Basically, imagine that there's a plane, right? And the plane crashes over the Atlantic Ocean, and 90% of people die. 10% of the people they survive, they get taken to shore, and then they're going to do like all these interviews on television and so on. You're going to see them all over the news about how they survived, the things they went through, blah, blah, blah. Which stories are you going to hear? Are you going to hear the stories of the 10% that survived, that succeeded? Or are you going to hear the stories of the 90% who died, the 90% who failed? Obviously, you're not going
I'm not sure where you're going with this, bro. Limerick Worldwide has a 93% effectiveness rating. 93% of people say that they a year afterwards that the forum made a profound and lasting difference on the way that they lived their life. So, not sure where this is going, but
to hear the stories about the guy who drowned. Like, how could you, right? So then why have all these people coming up on stage telling us about all these different amazing things they've done with this seminar?
and the other 7% just didn't say that it made a profound and lasting difference on the way they live their life. They said, like, I don't know what they said, but so maybe I'm not sure about that, but I did go off to get a raise on my job or to find someone that I love that we're getting married in a year or whatever it is.
Like, yeah, sure, of course you would say that. Of course you would say that. You're one of the ones who knows, maybe it actually worked for you. Or maybe you just faked it and it didn't. But who knows, maybe it actually did. But what if only 1% of people actually has to succeed? What about the other 99%? Of those 99%, are they going to come on stage? Are they going to be invited on stage? Are they going to be asked, hey, tell us about how you wasted your entire weekend and all this money? Obviously not, right? When you hear somebody talk about a certain anecdote, when you hear somebody tell you a story about something, especially something like this, even if it's true for them,
Okay.
even if they succeeded through it, it does not mean that you can do it. It does not mean it's something.
Bro didn't even look up any independent research whatsoever. But yeah, if you want to look it up at Harris polls.
Which can be replicated. Doesn't mean simple strategy, right? So these stories, no, just no. It's not a good way to sell. Well, it's a very good way to sell it. It's not a very good way to convince me, and it is a good way to manipulate people. So the first manipulation tactic, when I had it down,
Nobody was trying to convince or manipulate you. They were just being themselves, and then somebody else asked you if you wanted to sign up.
as was like build a little hype and then force people to buy. But I guess the way I described it is more like tell stories, tell anecdotes of stories, which pull people into what you're doing to make people believe in what you're saying. But that's the thing about humans, about the human mind. We don't.
No, they'll go over how it's not even you that's believing what you believe. It's it believing and you have the beliefs. It's it behaving and you having the actions. So And then if you haven't done the advanced course, I got that beliefs are real beliefs, they're just not real. So, this has nothing to do with there's no new beliefs. There's no come away from the 5 days and you should now believe X. No, there's none. There's the opposite of that, which is taking away everything, um, taking away the box, so to speak. Um, yeah, more free thinking, more out of the box thinking than maybe ever in your entire life or since you were six. If you remember how free your thinking was when you were 6 or 7 years old.
We understand statistics, numbers, and things like that. What we really understand is stories. We see social situations. We can think of ourselves as talking to different people, going through different experiences, having different feelings. So when somebody starts talking about how they felt, what they did, we can relate to that. You know, when somebody instead says, yeah, so nice 10 people.
And then it's not you feeling, it's it feeling, and you have the feelings. Um, and then in the advanced course, I got that feelings are real feelings, they're just not real. So this isn't in the realm of feelings, it's in the realm of transformation
Will do this, some people will do that. They're just numbers. It doesn't really mean anything.
or ontology, if you like.
It's the same as when we talk about like any tragedy in the world. When if we speak about how many people died in World War II, like how many tens of millions, that doesn't mean anything. When you hear like 50 million people died in World War II, it's impossible for us to understand how terrible that is. Our brain isn't designed to process that kind of information. You know, so if 50 million people died, what does that actually mean? We don't have a true understanding of it. But on the other hand, if I tell you the sad story of a mother who, you know, she had a newborn baby. And she was so happy because she just got married, she just had a kid, and her husband had to go off to war, and he never came back, and she was so heartbroken.
Yeah, this is I don't know where he's gonna go with this, but you're talking about a sob story, and this is only happy stories. So yeah, you're conflating the difference between talking about a million people versus telling the story of one person. Yes, that is a more human way to have a conversation, I guess. Um, but has nothing to do with landmark.
Amazing, and she helped herself. And she tried her best for her son, but she didn't have any money because there wasn't anything to take care of her and blah, blah, blah. But you see, it's so much more moving, even though that's one story, as opposed to
There was no ending to your story, bro. Like, bro, like, you know what I mean? It's like after landmark, there's going to be an ending to, and now I have X, Y, and Z, and that's a victory over before the way my life was not having X, Y, and Z, and blah 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 blah.
50 million, right? Well, yeah, so that's the first one, stories. The second one, and as I said, this all kind of builds into each other. So remember that overall structure of events. It's building hype,
So nothing's been correct thus far. So
building hype, and then trying to force you to buy right as your emotion is the highest.
no, nobody forced you. He invited you, and you experienced force.
So after that section, we went ahead and we did an exercise. And first I'll quickly describe what the exercise is about, and then I'll tell you guys the issues I have with it. So what they did is they asked us to, and I have my notes.
55 years of writing, and this guy wants to judge it with his psychology degree of 28 years old.
Because most likely during the events. They asked us to split life into different segments.
It's really 5,000 years of writing. I mean, everything that's spoken about in the 55 years that it took to write what's currently the form is from thousands of years of knowledge.
Like stuff like fitness, health, social situations, career, finances, family, all these different things, all these different aspects of life. And then what they asked us to do is to have two categories: what's working and what's not working. They asked us to make a list. So what's working for me, fitness. I go to the gym. What can I say? So of course that was on my working section. And then what I found really interesting here was what do you think they went into? Do you think they said to us, okay, so here's something that's working for you? Ovid, you said fitness is working for you. Tell us about that. How do you feel when you succeeded in that? No, how do you think I would feel talking about something I succeeded at and how awesome that is? I'm going to feel exciting. I'm going to feel amazing, right? They didn't do that. They did not do that. They said, all right, cool. What's working the least?
So you went from them wanting to hype you up to them not hyping you up. And you now have a problem with that. They hype me up too much. They didn't hype me up at all. Um, yeah, like, bro, if it's working for you, if the gym's working for you, great. Like, what are we even talking about here? I'm not trying to get better at I mean, I am doing that on my own, but why do I want to talk to you about getting better at the gym when you're already great at the gym? It's like, what are you even talking about here? It's a waste of my time. You have what you want. I have what I want. We're both fitness enthusiasts, and Great. What are we gonna just talk about what's working forever? Or we're gonna just ignore all the stuff that we want to work? Like, what are we even doing here?
What is the most terrible aspect of your life? What is the thing that hurts
I
you
mean, I don't know if they asked what's the most terrible aspect of your life, but um I mean, ideally you already got $10 million and we're working on 100 million. I don't know. Like, it's not terrible that I have 10 million. I'm not like, oh, that's terrible that you have 10 million. I'm like, all right, great. How we getting to 11 and 12?
the most? Think about that. Think about that. Bring up these images into your mind. The next thing they do, they don't just tell you to focus on it, but then they really start eliciting the feelings. They really start bringing out that state. So they'll do something like, I think I'll describe it. I'm just going to check my.
Well, yeah, you want to hate on them for asking you questions? They're not eliciting, they're just asking, how is that for you? And they almost certainly, well, maybe they said, how do you feel? Yeah. Okay. Because people are very much, their feelings are real.
They really make you focus on what's missing in life, and then they amplify that. For example, I was saying something like, well, sometimes I feel like, especially now,
Yeah. They want you to see what's missing so that you can put it in
the pandemic, been working from home.
so that you get your money's worth.
So now sometimes I feel like I just don't leave the house enough. Sometimes I feel like I don't really go out with friends enough. I don't have social interaction. And sometimes the only thing I do is just sit here on my laptop working, and after work, I don't really feel like going out because I'm already home, so I'll just watch YouTube, and I'm not really satisfied with that. So that's what they drilled into. They said, okay, what does that feel like? And if I'm honest with you guys, like it doesn't feel that bad. I go out on the weekend.
Yeah, there you go. It doesn't feel that bad. So this isn't really that important to you. So you told them something that really wasn't that important to you, and then, I don't know, pretended it was important just so you could get through their exercise. Um, like, what really are you working on? Okay, your fitness is great. Your Sounds like your social life you're pretty happy with. So let's talk about the other dozen areas of your life that maybe you want to take to another level.
During the week after work, obviously, I still go to the gym, I go to the park, still do stuff, right? They really make you focus on this. So what does that feel like? When you're by yourself, when you're sitting in front of your laptop, when work is finished and you know there's nothing else, when the only thing you have in front of you is YouTube, knowing
Yeah.
that other people are out there having fun, other people are out there
So
with
it really wasn't that big of a deal when you were at home by yourself on YouTube. Um, and they were asking, how does that feel for you? And you just told us that it really wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know what you told them. But you told us it wasn't. All right, we'll continue on the next one. Let me finish this point. You told us it wasn't a big deal. I don't know what you told them. Find out in the next video. And so yeah, move on to the next topic. Anyway, peace out, love.